your external life. So I would love to know where you guys are watching from. So if you're here, let me know, wave. And if you're watching on a replay, hashtag replay, please, so that I know you've been here and I can amplify your energy as you're listening to me. So today we are looking into how to become a decisive person that is always clear, no matter what's happening externally in your world. All right. So first, let's look at what it feels like when you're not a decisive person, right? First of all, it's over-analyzing. I'm sure you know what that feels like, right? When we get stuck in this way of thinking of, well, could it be this? Could it be this? The pros and the cons, and what about this? And all these multitudes of ways of how we blow ourselves out of the water and get in our own path. So indecision is actually very much linked a lot of times to this over-analyzing, which is overly masculine way of trying to figure things out. It creates an internal wobble. So put a 1 in the comments if this is something that you experience. This type of energy of, I need to figure it out. I must know the answer. What if it's this? What if it's this? But how do I know? But maybe I don't know. But maybe it's this way. Let's make a list, and the pros and the cons and all this wobble that we experience, that creates so much stress and ultimately exhaustion. Because when you do this a lot, it feels like you're worrying about a decision and you're trying to mentally get an answer to what should you do, instead of utilizing some other power within you. So this mental usage of your mind and trying to find the answer is totally exhausting. And that's why it always feels much better when we make a decision, because then it's like, oh, okay, I don't have to do this thing, this wobble anymore. Okay. Another thing is confusion. So if you experience confusion, put a 2 in the comments. This is a specific pattern that's more on the feminine side. Like if the other one was more electric structural, the overanalyzing, confusion is more feminine and overly magnetic. So that's a misalignment from the feminine side. That is when we go into, oh, I just don't know what to do. I just don't know. That feels like you have no power in that moment. So it's not a really fun experience because it feels totally disempowering to you as an individual. It feels like you have no answers and somebody else somewhere out there has answers, and you have to somehow go and figure out where those answers are and find these people, and you don't even know how. And all this internal confusion does, it amplifies your not enoughness. This internal feeling like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm not enough for this, or my offer is not enough, or my product is not enough, or how I work with clients is not enough. Whatever this not enoughness is within you, it creates confusion. And that can happen on any level of the business. I've seen the overanalyzing and confusion and indecisiveness on the really beginning of the businesses, and also when someone is at 6 figures or even beyond, because they got there by utilizing the principles that are lower than 6 figures principles. Those are limited principles for business. They do work, and they definitely something that kind of required to get you to the foundational piece of a business that's functional to, let's say, 8 to 10,000 a month income. But once you want to go beyond, then these two components, the overanalyzing that creates indecision and the confusion that also creates indecision, cannot be taken into the next level. They will actually sabotage you if they're not resolved. Okay, so when we're in the not enoughness energy, the outcome is no action. And when there is no action, because how do you take action if you're confused and you don't know, and somebody else knows and you don't? Well, then there's no results either, right? So a lot of times that's how businesses kind of get stuck in a specific income point. Like the person knew how to get here, but then after that, they just keep doing the same thing over and over and keep spinning in that either confusion and over analyzing. Either one of those things are traps that stop you from the unlimited creation. So wealth energetics, which is what I work with, it's an unlimited way of looking at your business. It's a possibility-based creation that then is applied to business strategy. So confusion or overanalyzing are sort of ways to keep you in a limited way, which only feels like you're trapped, and you end up sabotaging your success. Because when you're indecisive, guess what, what kind of clients do you think you will attract, right? Those people will probably have difficulty deciding to work with you because you have the energy of indecision. Universe always mirrors us. So if you are putting out the energy of indecision and lack of clarity, what you would attract is also indecision and lack of clarity. Which is why it's so essential to work on this, not just for the personal development to get you to the next level of you and your business, but also for your clients to be the type of the people that you actually can go deeper with, that you can create the amazing transformation with, the ones that as an expert that this is like what I'm capable of, this is the depths of my gift. So you want to have a client that you can give that depths of the gift to, not somebody who's only going to take a teeny little portion of it and also pay for the teeny little portion of it instead of the whole thing. So in order to work with the people who can actually receive your gift all the way, you need to be the decisive person that is clear because that's the energetics that creates the proper alignment for attraction of this type of a client through your marketing into your world. Okay, so that feels, when we're in this indecision stuff, it feels like you're constantly in a hustle. It feels like you're in a stress, you're in a drama, there's a lot of fear, and that tends to come up every time we go to make the decision to go to the next level. So again, I've seen this at every level. I've seen this at the beginning when somebody just lives in that state, which we're not talking about. We're talking about somebody who, like you, already at a business level where you know what you're doing. You have paying clients. You are at the position where, like, okay, I kind of got this. Like, I know who I am. I know what I'm doing. I know I'm an expert. My clients have great results. I'm around 6 figures somewhere, either just before or just after, or maybe even in multiple 6 figures. You are at the place where you want to take the next step to go to the next level. And you're realizing that this energy of indecision comes up, and maybe you thought you have resolved it. I hear that a lot from my clients. It's like, oh, but I normally just make decisions. I know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm wobbling here. It's because every time we make a choice to do something at the next level, some part of us had to be transmuted. Like, well, you probably heard that, like, if you go to the next level, some parts of you cannot take with you. So I kind of don't believe that you can't take parts of you with you. I just think that those parts need to grow up, because when we have components of us that are younger, that have not quite fully become empowered, and obviously we have components of us that have become empowered, and those are the parts that making that step forward to the next level of our development in our business, with our clients, in the wealth container, how much money you are planning to bring in, and for your personal standards of yourself, your personal evolution. Every time we make those kinds of steps, that also means that some parts of you are going to have to kind of rise up to the occasion and grow up. And they don't want to. They want to stay where they are. So they tend to throw tantrums. These inner parts of us that say, uh-oh, but she's gonna make me, be self-responsible or be accountable or be present or whatever it is that those parts of you don't want. And the part of you that's the wise part that says, nope, we're gonna go ahead. This is what the next level is. So it's a process of internal resolution that needs to happen. And the decision making is the component of that. So if you're noticing that you're on this precipice of the next step and you're ready for something, you feel it in your heart of hearts, you know that, okay, I want to upscale, like I want to go to the next level, and not just in like my income level, but in the type of clients, in the type of way I run my business, so that I actually feel like there's space for me, which is what I work with my clients, is to build the businesses that match sort of their natural way. So that way, if you're ready for that and you're noticing that you're having this indecision and kind of lots of fear comes up, that's normal. My energy guides always say that if your vision is, if you're not scared, your vision is not big enough. So if you're having this fear, that means your vision is actually correct. It's matching sort of where you're meant to be going. So I tend to always connect with that universal intelligence piece to bring that information for myself, self-coaching, and also for my clients, because I'm clairvoyant. So this is part of what I offer as a add-on to all the business strategy and marketing, is being able to see timelines and possibilities and what could be done in a specific way. So for the ones of you who don't know me, I'm Eugenia Oganova, and I am Wealth, Energetics, Business, and Marketing Coach. So that means that I work with the energy and I work with the business, and I put them together. So that way I help you translate this multidimensional something that usually doesn't really have words into much more practical thing that can actually generate income, the money. And obviously, if you already have a business, you have been doing some version of that. So what I do is I help you fine tune that. I help you modify what you have so that it's not based on some technique you've learned, but it's based more on your natural soul expertise. It's based on your gift and what you came to deliver, and that it matches your natural soul design, as in your natural rhythm and how you meant to do it. That way, you only do what works for you instead of whatever it is that you've learned that you're supposed to do. So in other words, we clarify your business. So we're talking about decision and clarity. Well, that's also part of what I work with my clients on. So anytime we make a big decision, or we're on the precipice of making a decision, like choosing to up-level your business, choosing to raise your prices, choosing to hire a coach, choosing to step into the next level of your personal power by changing your messaging and how you position yourself in the marketplace. All those big decisions, they're big. You know, if it's really something that you know, like, okay, it's rising me up to a whole other level here, and I'm going to hold a whole other standard of myself to do this, there's gonna be fear. When that fear comes up, a lot of times that's where, depending on if you're more electric or more magnetic, more feminine or more masculine, it will kick you into one of those two things with the indecision if you listen to the fear. So we talked of those two things. One is overanalyzing, which will never get you anywhere because mind is not meant to make decisions, or into the confusion, which is giving your power away or feeling like you can't find your power. Either one of those things are essentially scenarios that keep you from making the decision, okay? So now let's look at what is the solution to this issue, because if you want to go to the next level, that's something that does have to be solved, right? So the solution is to decide that you're not available for anything other than clarity. What does that mean? That means that who do you need to be clear and decisive? Like, look inside yourself. Like, if I'm clear and decisive person, who am I? Decide that you know the answers. It's literally a decision. So then every time you notice this wobble, instead of following the energy of the wobble, you go back to yourself and say, no, I already decided that I know the answer. So where is it? What's the answer? The answer is within me. I know it is. I just have to find it. I just have to go look for it. But I trust that it is there. That answer could be, great, I'm making this next step, and this is what I need to do internally in order to be able to make this. Okay? So another thing is to stay open to possibilities. This is about being resourceful. So if you want to be decisive, you have to be resourceful. Resourceful means looking for solutions, looking for what is working instead of what's not working. So instead of looking for like, oh, but if I do this, this might not work, or oh, but this, coach or this program costs this much money, or if I raise my fees, then this will happen and maybe nobody signs up, and whatever your story is, all those things are just stories. In reality, you actually have all the possibilities, 100% possible, 100% of the time. So it's a choice internally, it's a decision as to what are you going to be looking for within the field of possibilities. Are you going to be focusing on things that are not working and then kind of panicking about it and trying to fix it, which is a kind of a post-traumatic stress response that a lot of, especially women entrepreneurs have. They been traumatized by things that didn't work, and then they tend to fixate on those things and almost like look for like what next could go wrong, or what about this, or how do I prevent this from going wrong when it's actually doing fine ahead of time. This kind of hypervigilance thing that women do is because they think that by being prepared for the danger will hurt less. By being prepared that something could go wrong, when it does, you're somehow not as much in pain as you were maybe in the past from whatever that traumatic experience goes. But in reality, though, that constantly miscreates from your intention. So if your intention is to create something harmonious, but you're constantly hypervigilantly focusing on what's not working or what could go wrong, not even not working in the future, well, guess what you're doing? You're projecting in the future things not going right. So that's why I'm saying that the decisive person is resourceful. And being resourceful means that you open up to solutions. What does go right? What's happening here? If you are one of those types that you can't help yourself and automatically fall into, well, what if this happens? Then immediately counteract that with, well, what if that happened? There's something positive that's really awesome to counterweight the negative. So then you neutralize it at least. So that way you're always looking for solutions. You're always looking for how could this be better or different, or what do I already know? What can I find? Who can I ask? Who can I hire to support me? How can this be done? Instead of why this would not work. Okay? So that's a huge component of being a decisive person that is just not available for anything other than clarity. Okay? And another component is getting correct support. That is super, super, super important. Not being rescued as a support, like if you're hiring a team or the virtual assistant, or if you're hiring a coach, or if you're signing in for a program, like that kind of a support, you don't want to hire someone who you're thinking will rescue you. Because even at multiple six figures, I've seen that when people hire a team member just because like, oh, I just can't do it. It's such a mess and I need somebody who's just gonna take it all off my hands, not realizing that hiring a team member is actually still work, because you still have to explain the procedures. You're still gonna have to have a relationship with this person. You're still gonna have to explain a lot of things that probably will be misunderstood. So even though, yes, it's taking it off your hands, it's not gonna be a rescue. It's gonna be a different relationship that this person eventually will learn, and then yes, it will become easier for you to not have to do the specific task you hired them for. But it's definitely not a rescue energy. Obviously, the same thing with a coach. When you're hiring a coach, it's meant to be somebody who can see you and can help you be more you, not somebody who's going to somehow rescue you from your desperate situation. It's never a great idea to hire a coach because like, oh, I just need to, like I need to make more money, or I need to find clients, or I need to, like, how do I, that frantic energy is not going to help you build a relationship with an appropriate person. So then you probably will end up attracting a type of a coach that's going to respond to that, oh, she needs rescue, and then give you kind of a cookie cutter strategy and say, okay, do this and then everything will be fine. And then on the end of that, you will probably feel trapped because you just had to twist yourself into a pretzel to fit into somebody else's design, which you only gotten because from the beginning you felt like you needed to be rescued. So that is definitely something to watch out for. When you hire someone, maybe be a team member or a coach, that person meant to be someone who is an expert in what they do, but who's not interested in taking over you. And you're not interested in giving your power to them. So it's an equal relationship, so that you both provide your expertise and then together you co-create something. Okay, so I myself as a coach totally stand on that idea that your coach is meant to empower you and meant to show you more of you, not something that going to be taken away from you somehow or told you who you should be. That's not the job of the coach. Coach is not meant to tell you who you should be. Coach is meant to show you who you are and then help you be more of that. In other words, empower you to fully step into you, to help you clean up all the junk that's in the way of you fully shining your light and standing in that glorious brilliance that you are. And clarify your gift. That's another thing that I totally stand for my clients, is that, whatever gift you have, a lot of times we kind of tend to minimize it and we only see part of it. And being clairvoyant and being able to see energetically and read sort of the timelines and different possibilities and what's within the person soul contract, I help my clients amplify that unique thing that is theirs. So you don't want a coach that's going to tell you like, oh, okay, well, you're great at this because you studied that. You have certification for that. Great. Let's make a package around that. That's not a good idea, because now you're building something on skill, not on actual soul expertise. So whatever I do with my clients is always based on soul expertise, as in who you actually are and what is the soul gift that is cumulative from all your lifetime's wisdom that you're bringing through. And then how is that going to help people on this planet right now in a third dimension? So whatever the translation of your gift into a practical packaging, sure, it could involve skills or whatever you have learned, whatever programs you've taken and certifications you have, but those are add-ons kind of to wrap around the essence of your gift. So whoever is the coach that you hire, you want that person to help you with uncovering the true you, and then from that place, shining your light. Not somebody who's gonna say like, okay, well, because you studied this, like let's say you studied acupuncture or hypnotherapy or whatever, let's just like build a program on that because that's the thing. That is not the thing. That is a skill that can enhance the thing, which is your natural soul expertise, but it's not meant to replace it. So you want someone that you have as a support that can actually help you be more you, okay? And also accountability, it's a really big component of working with someone. When you make decisions internally, you are self-accountable. But sometimes when we fall into this illusion of the lower self, like when we kind of fake ourselves out with our own fears and we suddenly feel like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I don't know, or whatever. It's like a moment of amnesia when you know you're a powerful being, but you kind of forget in that moment. That's also where you want a coach to show you, this is the illusion. Because it's so easy to believe our own illusions and then we can't move forward. So if you're at the point in your business when you know that, okay, I've gotten here, it's working, but it's hard. And I'm having all these things that Eugenia is talking about, all these internal wobbles. I'm falling into either over-analyzing or confusion when I try to decide. Suddenly certain things that before kind of like were no problem, now they seem to be hard. I'm kind of feeling like if I work even more doing this, try to scale, I will burn out. So that's not something I can afford to do, but at the same time, I want to expand and I want to have support that's not kind of pushing me into something that I need to be from somebody else's idea, but helps me figure out what is my next level. Then I definitely invite you to apply to my Conscious Future Mastermind. The doors are open right now. It's a program where I work exactly with these components. We essentially use 7-figure strategies for your business. So even if you're somewhere around your first 6 figures, or if you're at multiple 6 figures, or if you're already at 7 figures and beyond, essentially the strategies that I teach, because they're based on consciousness, they're applicable to every level of business, but what they are about is unlimited wealth creation. So that means you learn to be the master of yourself, so that you can ride your emotional waves appropriately and maintain the baseline, that you can be a consistent energy broadcasting station through your marketing, through your messaging, through your visibility. I teach a lot of the business strategy within that. I am a business coach, but with the twist sort of the energy consciousness piece to it. So it's a transformational program that is essentially to upgrade your business. Lots of business strategy and building your own marketing that works for you. This is another thing that I see so often, that the being decisive is kind of a foundation for working with the quantum field. And when we're indecisive, we end up not being able to pull out from the quantum field what we desire. So being able to have your business strategy or your marketing strategy, your visibility strategy, how you messaging, like the words you're utilizing to attract correct people so that your words are tasty, so that they have the right frequency and people respond to them, recognizing themselves in your messaging. that means that there's something there that has to click within you. So that decisive energy of being able to make a decision and move on, make a decision and move on. We can always change a decision. You can make a couple of steps in one direction and then feel like, okay, now I feel more drawn that way. Okay, but when we're afraid to make a wrong choice, we don't make any decision, and that's never beneficial. Okay, that's actually based on the concept that there is a right answer and a wrong answer, and then we're afraid to make the wrong answer and we keep looking for the right answer, and then of course we can't find it. So in truth, there is no right answer. There is no wrong answer either. There are just answers, and there are many, many, many of them, and they work for different people differently. So when you decide that you're not available for anything other than you being clear, that means that if you know in your heart of hearts that you're ready for the next level, and you have that clarity that, okay, I am, then that's what you utilize to propel yourself forward, not all the fears that tend to come up. So learn to essentially powerfully decide. This is what wealth energetics are about, and this is how you create sustainable wealth, because you expand your wealth container. And this is exactly what I teach in my Conscious Future Mastermind. So I definitely invite you to apply. Put the word future in the comments, and then I will message you and we can connect and set up a conversation to see if you qualify for my program. Inside Conscious Future Mastermind, what we do is we clean up what is in a way, so all the limitations, all the karmic patterns that are blocking you, and mostly your way of looking at reality. And then we apply that onto building your business strategy in a way that works for you. So that way, what offers you have, what is the pricing, what kind of a client it's for, maybe fine-tuning your niche, how is the marketing going to look for this type of business that you're building, what needs to be upgraded. Like if you have a functional business that is already generating income, you can double and triple that income by internally aligning appropriately with the energy of you. You already have all the answers. You have all the power. What I do is I essentially catalyze you into being that awesome you that you're meant to be in the first place. And it's very hard to do alone. A lot of times I hear that people feel almost like, well, I should be able to do it alone, because if I still feel like I need help, that means I'm failing. No, it's the other way around. Every time we make a big step, there's going to be fear, and there's going to be some kind of jitters about like, oh my God, I'm going to the next step. And then when you make that step, of course, you're going to need support, because you just entered into a new territory, and it's actually self-kind. So even without support, you can make the step, but it's harder and it's not so kind to you, because there's gonna be difficult moments. Every time we quantum leap into the future, there's going to be moments of darkness. And this inner darkness that comes up, you want to have an ally to help you go through those moments so that you can keep doing this leap forward through utilizing the quantum field. When we don't know how to handle those moments of darkness that come up during our leaps forward through the quantum field and in our business and the marketing and pricing and wealth that we're attracting, the dark moments become kind of like a trap. It starts to feel like, oh, that's my reality, when it's not. So that's something that you really want to watch out for, and that's part of why you want a proper coach. So I definitely invite you to apply. This is exactly what I work with my clients, and I would love to walk with you as you're creating this amazing quantum leap in your business and help you make the leap, while any darkness that comes up in the process, clean it up and stand for your power so that you can fully be more of you and create a type of a business that is fine-tuned to you, that is uniquely matching you. I would love to be the one to help you get there. So if you're noticing you're having this inner indecision, look for what is it that you need to decide about being clear and decide to not be available for, so that you can stand in your power. And if you are curious about my Conscious Future Mastermind, put the word future in the comments. We'll connect and see if you qualify, see what I can do for you. Even if you're just curious, it's still a good place to start. All right, my love to you. Mwah.